Thor. What's it called? Thor.
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. Oh, God, we're doing this one.
Yeah, we're doing this one.
I was so apprehensive going into this and really dragged my feet because I was like, fine, I'll put it on. Went down so much easier than I thought it would.
So you benefited from horribly low expectations, so it had nowhere to go but up, and it was actually not nearly as bad as you thought it was.
I only watched it because you forced us to do it as homework.
Did I say that?
Yeah. You told us to go watch it before the next recording session.
All right, then I'm glad y'all worked that shit out. That worked out well.
If I'd have known that, I would have not watched it just to be a rebel.
Just to be like Thor.
I didn't remember that commandment from on high.
It was in the text messaging.
So I knew going into it, I've seen a lot of things on the internet because I wasn't really interested in watching it. So, of course, I had no really problems with spoilers. So I'd watch whatever. And most of the people were like, too much humor, not even pausing to let any moment rest or breathe or have a serious moment without instantly making a joke or having goats screaming in your face or whatever. And the opening 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was, they're like, oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy were only in it for that opening montage. I loved the opening montage. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Yes. I loved everything that happened with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought the opening montage was just fucking, it was like peak Taika Waititi. It was so...
It worked.
Yeah, it worked so good. It was hilarious. It was so good. And then I completely lost interest after that. I completely lost interest after that.
I feel like it's 90% of a good movie. It just needed to bake a little bit longer.
90%'s a little ambitious.
85?
I'd give it 20, the first 20 minutes.
I think it was a very awkwardly put together movie. The tone was all over the place.
Yeah.
You go from, let's start off the movie with a child dying, and then get into some wacky hijinks, then get back to, murdering gods. It was weird how it just went in different directions like that, and it felt like it wasn't finished. The only thing that really saved it and made it an enjoyable... I don't feel like I wasted 2 hours of my time, mostly because some of the jokes landed. There was enough humor in it that it kept me interested.
They threw enough shit at the wall that some of it actually hit.
Yes, their shotgunning of jokes, some of the pellets hit. And some of them bullseyed. I freaking loved it when they were having the scene where he's talking to Mjolnir, and then other Thor shows up and takes it, and then you see Stormbringer just kind of creeping into the side of the frame there.
A couple of times, yeah. It's just that it was jealous. That's what happens when you get intelligent weapons.
Just from the right side of the frame, Stormbringer just kind of leans in. The timing of that was good. So some of the humor landed, and enough of the humor landed that I really liked it. And Thor trivia time. His two goats, do you know what their names are?
Tooth Gnasher and Ball Gnasher.
Oh, well.
Grinder.
You clearly didn't read Deities and Demigods enough. They have stat blocks for them, man. Come on.
Dude, I just gave you their names.
That was not their names.
Correct me then.
Thor, historically, as a legend, had his two war goats who pulled his chariot.
And he could kill them and eat them, and then they'd be born again the next morning.
Exactly, and their horns would give ambrosia.
I know Norse mythology.
Yes.
Tooth Grinder and Tooth Gnasher.
Their names were Trensenyer and Trensenjost.
Which translate into Tooth Grinder and Tooth Gnasher.
Does it?
Yes!
Let's put that into Google Translate and see.
All right, do that. Somebody Google Thor. What were Thor's goats' names?
Considering we're called NerdRagnarok, we need to know this.
I know. I had some dude call me out on runic shit.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, I don't fucking know. I thought it sounded cool.
Here we go. I got it right here. They're Trensenyer and Trensenjoster, which respectively can be translated into teeth bearer and teeth grinder.
Ha ha!
You were close.
How did you remember this friggin' Norse names from deities, demigods?
He knows all of it.
Because I like Norse mythology. It's awesome.
So do I.
What's the name of the world tree, Rob?
Fucking Yggdrasil. Jesus Christ, Yggdrasil. That's too easy.
How about Odin's spear?
Gungnir.
Okay, you got that.
What about his bracelet that drops 9 times?
Ooh, yeah, his 9-time bracelet there.
I'm not hearing an answer.
You know what? I don't have an answer. What is that?
Draupnir.
Draupnir, because it drops.
Drop it like it's hot.
Well, it's D-R-A-U-P, at least in deities and demigods.
Some of these things, sometimes that's where the words come from, though.
Yeah, because much of English has been influenced by all the fighting and fucking that the Danes and then the Norwegians and then all the other and the Normans, our people, the Normans. Yeah. So most people say Christian Bale did a really good job. He did do a good job with what he was given. What he was given was bad in that the character that he was playing was awesome in the comics, and in this one he was kind of like watered down and given very little time. In the comics, he actually killed some gods.
That was Christian Bale?
Yeah,
that was Christian Bale.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
The opening scene made him very sympathetic. Then the scene, like when he's like tormenting the kids, like that was very off-putting, like for tone.
I know. Why was he all evil when he just wanted to?
Yeah, he's there to kill gods. Why are you torturing children?
Yeah, he killed one god, and that one god that he killed was clearly a case of self-defense. That was the only thing that happened on screen, and then apparently off-screen, for
they showed you shots of like the 5 different gods or whatever he killed.
It was just fucking stupid. So the Bale open where, and what happened? Like a sword just popped out of the ground, or was it the god's sword?
A guy came to kill him, and the body was laying there, and then the sword started whispering to him.
It popped out of the ground.
So, okay, the God Killer sword, which was so impactful and such a cool device in the comics, was just turned into like a little fucking idiot MacGuffin that just pops out of the ground.
He found it.
So the plot could happen. The action open with the Guardians of the Galaxy, friggin' hilarious. I loved that.
They're awesome wherever they go.
And with Thor there, they play off each other so well. They should have made the whole movie that. They should have made as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's what I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was going to be.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. The Guns N' Roses soundtrack, I'm never going to object to that. I thought that was kind of cool how they just didn't do just Sweet Child of Mine, but they did like everything. They did
it's
like
a little heavy-handed on there.
I mean, what else did you want? Did you want some like Donny Osmond or something? I know how
in the last movie, the Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin worked perfectly. I'm shocked that has never been in a Thor movie before. That is the perfect song for him. So these all seemed like second choices. I mean, it worked, but nothing's going to work as good as that one.
In the opening as Guardians of the Galaxy montage, one of the really funny things was Kraglin as a member of the crew, where they showed like the slow motion pan where they're all in these action poses and he's got the arrow up his nose.
Yeah, it went up his nose.
Yes.
And then the thing where he keeps getting married on all these different planets. I thought that was wonderful. I want that movie.
Yeah. That hints at a better movie we should have been watching, which they haven't made yet.
They made the horrible mistake of showing us a better movie, even though it's not actually a movie right now.
Yeah.
They did that.
Yes, you shouldn't hint at that in your otherwise crappy movie.
As far as the discordant tone, like Sif gets her arm torn off, and they're like they immediately go to making jokes.
I know, like, they're cracking wise about she's been delimbed. At least put a tourniquet on there or something.
I know how do they not see? I don't know.
I really did like the joke when they enter the Shadow Realm and they're headed towards that planet, and then they just bonk into it.
They just plow into it.
That was a great little visual gag there. That one worked really well. Yeah, they shotgunned the humor, but enough jokes landed to keep me interested.
So you think more movies should just like
No, it was
joke a minute because guaranteed like one of them's going to land it.
It was a crutch, and they leaned heavily on this crutch. Luckily, the crutch was just barely strong enough to hold the rest of the movie up. Because the action was bad, and the plot was bad, and the tone was all over the place.
And it really fell apart at the end.
Yeah, and the final fight was just a whole lot of nothing.
Thor Ragnarok was such a good movie, and it had such good humor throughout it, that they're like, they Police Academied it, where they're like, let's lay that shit on thicker. Thor Ragnarok had some actual like emotional moments, some, the bad guys, the good guys, they could be scared, they could be sad. It wasn't all just like goat screaming in your face for the whole fucking movie.
Goat screaming in your face followed by, hey, Dr. Foster's got cancer.
Yeah, and then everybody's like laughing, yucking it up like a minute later. So they Police Academy this movie in that they took what was good from one movie and then like turned it up to 11 and just made it completely off-putting almost. A lot of the things that you guys are mentioning as far as like bonking into the planet and Stormbreaker like peeking into the scene, I honestly, I have no idea what you're talking about because I had tuned out so much that I was probably on Twitter.
I guess you were, but yeah, those were some of the best moments of the movie. Is a couple of the sight gags like that really hit perfectly.
Mjolnir being a fragmentable thing was kind of awesome.
That was pretty cool. Yes.
I like that. That was inventive. I don't know if the comics did that, but
during that big fight they were having when that power was first introduced, it was several minutes into the fight. Why didn't you do that at first? It was extremely effective.
She's new.
I guess, yeah, actually.
I did like the ongoing joke about like her trying to come up with like,
let's bring the rainbow.
Bring the rainbow. Is that a catchphrase or something?
She's only been a Thor for a minute.
She's new. I also like the joke when they go, half our guards are dead. She's like, half our guards are always dead.
When it was toward the beginning of the movie when Thor was having a montage about the relationship with him and Jane. You know, he was like getting into like the relationship stuff and they were doing things. That was hilarious. I don't remember too much of any specific thing, but I thought they did that really well. That was, again, the first 20 minutes of the movie where I was...
Yeah, and they actually filled in something that people were talking about when she disappeared for so many years. And they're like, where the hell is Jane? Like, what's going on?
Plus, we never really got any real relationship time. They were always in extremis. You know, they're always shit happening. Let's fight this bad guy in the movies. It was cool seeing them in the relationship and why it didn't work out. And
where's Jane been? Well, it's a funny story. She's got cancer.
The one time her phone rang and it was Nick Fury and it said Nick Furry. Did y'all notice that?
I did not.
That was very funny. Nick Furry.
The reason she had cancer too is because she was using the Bifrost as a human with all the space radiation.
That's what they said in the movie.
Did they really? I was making a joke about that.
Oh.
She had the cancer and the medical treatments were failing, and then she heard Mjolnir calling to her.
And every time she turns into Thor, it washes all the chemo out of her system, and thus the cancer is allowed to gain a foothold and attack more as she's being heroic.
Well, that's how it was in the comics. Yeah, they were more simplistic about it in the movie.
Did they not communicate that properly in the movie?
In the movie, he just said it steals or it taxes your humanity or something.
I also liked how they were very vague on the cancer. She has stage 4 cancer of some kind.
Yeah, was it like butt cancer? Was it?
They never mentioned that. They just kept saying stage 4.
You know what I kind of liked? They were in total goofy playing for laughs mode, but I liked New Asgard as tourist destination. I liked how they were giving tours. They had Matt Damon and Melissa McCarthy playing Hela, showing up on stage again, reprising, or at least Damon was reprising his role. I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was really kind of very, very funny.
It was fun. They turned it into, they have no other, applicable skills, so you might as well turn it into a theme park. It was kind of nice. It was a thing that happened in the movie.
They had cruise boats pulled up. That was kind of cool. I thought that was funny.
I'd go to Asgard. That would be a vacation destination I would do.
I wrote down in my notes Old Spice. I don't remember why I wrote that. Why did I write Old Spice?
She was doing a commercial for it at the start of the movie.
Who was?
The grim and joyless lesbian.
Yeah, the king of Asgard.
Gotcha. The stunning and brave. Proud.
Yeah, she's stunning and brave. She's also grim and joyless.
Very much so. All her roles are like that, though, to be fair to her. If you're getting her, that's what you're getting.
She's like a thundercloud over anything, and not in the good Thor way, but just in the everything gets darker and more grim when she's around.
You know Taika Waititi's going to be ticking boxes. He's firmly on the side of the box tickers.
But, unlike most box tickers, he can usually pull out a good movie. He has actual talent. His only skill isn't to tick boxes.
Yeah.
He didn't this time. This time, it didn't all come together. But in the past, he's done good stuff, and I expect in the future he'll do good stuff.
Another funny moment. Thor as a Zeus fanboy.
Zeus! Oh, there he is! The man, the myth, the legend.
I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Zeus, he's coming. He's great. He was just such a Zeus fanboy. And then he ended up killing him, so that was cool.
But did he? Did you watch the end of the movie?
Oh, no. I probably was playing solitaire or...
All the stakes were also taken away because he was fine.
Did all the gods come back?
Oh, yeah. Well, Zeus did.
Yeah.
And did Jane not die?
She was quite dead. No, she died. They even had her show up in Valhalla with Heimdall.
Cool. Great.
Natalie Portman wants out of the MCU, so success on that. She has escaped.
My overall thoughts for the movie, and when I say they, I mean Taika Waititi, because he's kind of an auteur. He's in charge. It's his work. He doesn't take a back seat. I'm sure most of that's from him, his stuff. There was a lot of eye-rolly, cringy stuff from my perspective, as far as the perspective of actual fans of the comics and discerning, rational thinking people. But the movie is probably appealing as hell to the slobbering mass of dipshit movie-going douchebags who, bought a fuck ton of movie tickets. So they probably did it right. It was mass appeal. And by the mass, I mean the masses of dipshits.
I thought it did horribly and underperformed.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
That's what
I think that's because it was locked out of China.
That too, yeah.
China. Too many gays.
It was too woke for China, so they just shut it down entirely.
And they just mentioned that he's not going to be doing any more MCU movies because of the horrible failure that this movie was.
Yeah, I do know it is the one and only MCU movie that's ever lost money.
Really?
Yes.
It did that badly?
Looks like it. That's what happens if you get blocked out of China.
But it had all the dipshit mass appeal.
We must worship China.
It had too much gay messaging to be allowed in China. That's why they banned it.
That's true. They need to be more like Star Wars, where they put their little lesbo kiss, but they make it easily editable.
Yeah, right? It's physically impossible to make a movie without the message being involved in it in some way, shape, or form. So it's just a question of how much and how editable it is what gets it into China.
Any final thoughts on Thor Love and Thunder?
Screaming goats.
Screaming Goats. What about Thor hanging dong?
What?
Thor hanging dong?
What are you talking about?
When they blew his clothes off and...
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that was a thing.
I thought it was funny that all the girls fainted. But that was in the trailer, so...
Yeah, they trailer ruined that one.